trying to wrap his mind around that is where you see the journey that Clemens goes on. He starts as this man of science, but he ends as this not only a believer, but this killer, this hunter. He sees the other in Dracula, and Dracula sees the other in him. And I think there's an interesting conversation there.
I'm really excited to talk with you about this movie. It is an absolute blast from start to finish. Now, outside of maybe The Walking Dead, I mean, this is really your first foray into the horror genre. What about The Last Voyage of the Demeter really sparked that interest to want to dive into this genre?
It's Dracula, but it's also Alien on a boat. It's the universal and Amblin of it all. It's like a return to form almost. It's the practical nature of like shooting this. There's the opportunity to play this black doctor in the 1800s who finds himself on this ship to hell, this voyage to hell, and to the challenge of being British and the thrill of being a sort of a hero character in this, the unexpected hero character. In this film, and it's just a return. It really is a return to form, and just a return to like old school filmmaking. And it was thrilling. Andre told me his vision for the movie, and I was just like, I could see myself in this, and we went for it. And it wasn't any looking back. It was fun.
I'm glad that you were allotted that opportunity and that you two dove in, because it really is so great to see what he had in store for us. And speaking to the practicality of it, I mean, the design of Dracula is pretty terrifying, and it does seem to mix both practical and CGI elements. And so what was your first reaction like, though, when you saw Javier on set?
Javier is an incredibly gifted actor and performer and physical actor as well, but also brought the emotional elements of it, which sometimes with monsters you don't on set, which sometimes with monsters you don't always get. And it was just incredibly cool to watch Javier like in this suit, in sometimes blazing heat, and sometimes freezing wet and cold. Watch him still channel this character that is an icon. Like Dracula is an iconic role, and to watch him step into that was cool. It was also crazy to watch him like eat his lunch in costume as well too. I don't know if I could have did it, but it's thrilling. You know, it's thrilling to watch.
He really does have such a wonderful history with monster character work. So it's crazy to see every time. And going back to what you mentioned about your character, I mean, there is something really exciting to see, like you said, a black doctor, especially at that time. Yeah. And I mean, you played a lot of those characters with timely nature or timely themes behind them. What is it like getting to explore that through so many different, whether it be the drama of Straight Outta Compton or the action of 24 Legacy and now the horror of this? What is it like to get to explore that nature through so many different things?
It's an honor is what it is. And it's a thrill that people keep letting me do it. And finding it, I don't like doing the same thing, but I live in this skin. And so if I'm playing the character if I'm playing Clemens, then we have to be damn sure that it's accurate or it makes sense if it's not truthful. But this was based off Clemens is based off of real, doctors who went to Cambridge during that time. And interestingly enough, a lot of American doctors had to go to Cambridge because they weren't able to study there. But we made him British. And his journey back to London. But there's this thing about Clemens having to walk the world in this skin, that as a black man, and the challenges that he faces, the evil that he faces every single day, and the evil that he faces on the Demeter. And so trying to wrap his mind around that is where you see the journey that Clemens goes on. He starts as this man of science, but he ends as this not only a believer, but this killer, this hunter. He sees the other in Dracula, and Dracula sees the other in him. And I think there's an interesting conversation there.
It's a really fascinating arc to get to watch. And like you said, I love where he ends in the movie. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And I see my time's up anyway. So, Corey, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you.